So I'm going to concentrate on the Faema only because you can find plenty of information on the ECM Giotto online. The Faema Compact E98 S1 is essentially the same machine as the La Cimbali Junior. They're both, well, they are made for commercial, and for that reason they do tend to run fairly hot. So if you're only making espresso for 1 or 2, this machine is going to require a fair amount of cooling flush if it's been sitting idle. If you're going to be entertaining and making espressos one after the other, and lattes for that matter, this would be a fantastic machine. It means that you can do it without too much cooling flush at all if it's on continuous, and it's not going to stop and you will not run out of steam. Now, first of all, this knob here, turn that off, that's off, and on, you can see the green light turn on. There's an orange light here that indicates water level in the tank. That light will come on if there's no water or it's running low. At 1, it's not going to be turning on the elements, so you can do everything including the manual boiler fill, the only thing is you will not have the steam because the boiler would not be at pressure, but I've had this running for about 10 minutes, it's already at pressure. So at 2 the boiler is on. There you go, you can hear the boiler kicking in. Now I have found that at one occasion I turned it on after not using this machine for almost a week, that the orange light came on even though the water in the tank was full. I am using a filtered water system that softens it as well, and the danger with this machine is that there's another tube that feeds water in through here that registers if there's water in the tank, and it registers by mineral particles. I'm not an expert on that side of things, but what it does is it registers the water. The danger of having a very clear, almost distilled water is that there's basically it doesn't register it. So in some ways it is good to have a little bit of impurity in the water. To fix that problem, all I did was pull out that line out of the water tank and put it back in, and then I guess it registers the difference between the air and the water. I'm not sure what it did, but it did automatically. That came off. Now if you find that orange is on and the water tank is obviously almost empty, fill it up with water and that will then come off pretty quickly. So what the difference between this machine and the Giotto, it's 30 kilos versus around 20 to 23 kilos, so that in itself speaks volumes about this machine. It is a true commercial machine. It is overall bigger, depth-wise and height-wise. It's very much bigger than the Giotto. Width-wise, it's practically the same. Difference again is they both have a swivel arm, but this is not a non-burn. You need that little rubber. Compared to the Giotto, you can actually touch it and it will be slightly uncomfortable, but it will not burn you. This one has a hot water tap. It does swivel, but the Giotto has a hot water arm. It doesn't really make a difference. This thing is a much bigger boiler. The boiler is almost 2.5 liters. They say it's stainless steel, but when I looked inside it almost looked copper plated, but I'm not sure. And the Giotto is just under 2 liters. So that means there's a lot of steam on this. You'll never run out. A good thing again about manual boiler fill is that you've got this visual to tell you how much water is in the boiler. So you always keep it above minimum. So when you make your coffee and you steam, you know that you've got plenty of water in the boiler. With the Giotto, it's an auto cutout system, an auto fill. Sorry. What that means is it will, when the boiler is low, it will auto fill, and if you're steaming at that time, that's not good news, because the pressure then goes straight down, because you're drawing cold water from the tank and going straight into the boiler, and that just drops the temperature. Again, this thing has a visual level as well as a water level indicator. Giotto does not have that, so you're running blind. It does have its automatic boiler fill and auto cutout if there's no water in the tank, to save the element from frying. And this thing also will do the same, but the added visual means that you never be left with an espresso running and suddenly cutting off because the auto cutoff came in. You know, you will always have that at a level that will never cut up. This thing comes with 58mm portafilters. Got a single and double. I'm not using the single. I've got the single and the double only because it's not being used. And I'm using this 15-gram basket because, you know, this thing is 7 grams and you just cannot make a good espresso out of that. I'm just using this as a blind filter. So another thing I noticed was that the actual basket, get this out if I can. So that's the Faema basket, and this is the Giotto basket. The Giotto basket seems to be wider. It does not actually fit into my portafilter. Although in terms of how many grams of coffee, this one seems to fit more. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but you can see it just doesn't want to go in. So all that means is you need to buy the correct basket. Okay, so having said all that, that's the seam. This thing is massive. It's got 4 holes and it will literally steam milk in 5 seconds flat. That is amazing. You know, compared to the Giotto, I've got 40 seconds, sorry, to steam enough milk for one. This thing will steam in 5 seconds. That just means that you'll need to be very quick with what you're doing, making sure everything is perfect so that it textures it right. Steaming for 2 is not going to be much greater. It's only for 10 seconds, and that's still fast. It's crazy fast. Cooling flash, I think I said it already. If I haven't, 120 mils on this compared to about 50 mils on the Giotto. Plastic drip tray. The Giotto is stainless. The drip tray is very small for what it is. Although I've measured it, they both take around 700 mils, which is quite a decent amount. But you know, you have to balance the water if you try to pour it out. So I'd say probably comfortably carrying about 600 mils of water. And alright, well, I'm gonna make a coffee and we'll see how I go. Thank you.